detailed or whatnot.
There may be something we could do that's a direction that we haven't really started to explore yet. It just, over the last couple of days, it seemed to me that we're working awfully hard to convince ourselves that we should go forward with this right now. You know, I think this council has always wanted to turn over every stone and really research things as well as we can before we make a decision. So, you know, we still have a few weeks if we want to, you know, if you vote to go forward with this. You know, again, I just wanted to make you aware of it, that there is more than just these couple of items from the city attorney that we really have to sit down with this company at the table and iron out.
Alderman Eugene Wesley.
I agree with, Mr. Forrest on this one. The drawback I have is if we're going to move on, let's get out on the table what we like to see in this contract, okay? Because I don't want you to bring me a contract and say, this is what we want. You know, in Mary's thing here, which I did read, again, the contents, we don't have a say-so in that. I mean, this ain't a contract, but I think if this council wants to move forward with this, I think we should lay it out on what we think we want as a council to protect our own livelihood of this website. And that's the problem I have. You know, I think, believe me, I think it's a great idea, you know, just like the senior housing. But there's too many loopholes still in this project that needs to be addressed. And I did happen to call, when this gentleman came in, I did happen to call Westchester because he said that they turned in all their phones and decided to go to this website instead. They still have not been activated and not moved forward with their process. So I agree that maybe we need to lay it out. Maybe the council members don't want to speak about it today about their concerns. Maybe they could call you about their concerns by a deadline, and then we work it off with attorney, what we would like to see in the contract. But I still do not, I will not, my vote will be no until some more fine tunings, contracts, and my concerns are addressed. Because Mary didn't address my concerns still in this memo.
What I'm hearing here tonight is that I think a lot of us like the concept, and we identify and respect that there are legal problems with what this consultant is proposing. I'm also hearing administrative deficiencies on the part of this consultant, and that's enough for me to want to take the roll on this right now. There's a motion on the floor to not move forward in a second, and I think that before we take the roll, Alderman Police has one more thing to say, but then I think I'd want to take a roll. Alderman Police.
Actually, Alderman Wesley just said, it's just, if we make the motion not to go forward, are we killing it completely, or, I mean, I think we like the idea.
Well, I'm saying that
How's the motion? We killing it, period, and it's done, or?
the motion is to concur with staff and not move forward with this contract, with this concept at this time. And my concern is that we could talk about this and spend a lot more staff time, but I'm hearing that there are administrative deficiencies with this company. And I don't think those are going to go away by May 8th or whatever that date is. So that's enough for me to give my vote, and I think you guys know how I'm going to go on this one. If this doesn't fail, or if this motion to not move forward doesn't fail, somebody can make another motion, and we could spend more staff time on it. I don't think that's prudent personally, though. I think that there may be other opportunities, other companies doing this. There may be other opportunities in a couple of months for staff to readdress with the same company. I don't think that that's a proper move to make at this point in time. That's just my personal decision. Mr. Mayor, is your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I would just advise the council, the restaurants, the bowling alleys, Topgolf, Park District, those businesses that are an attraction to the city of Wooddale can get this service right now for free to the Greater Woodfield Convention Bureau. You access their website, it'll bring up the specific restaurant or bowling alley, it'll print out whether you have any coupons available, it'll Google you, map right to the location. So that service is being provided now for those type of businesses by the Woodfield Convention Bureau, which we are a member of.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, motion to not move forward with this program, and a second. And I'd like to take the roll. Is there anything
Take it.
prudent here?
Nope, go
Okay, thank you. Roll, please. Motion is to not move forward.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
No.
Alderman Eugene Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Roy Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
No.
Okay, this motion to not approve has passed, so essentially not moving forward with this at this point. Items to be considered at future meetings. The Lakota Group, as it relates to the Thorndale Corridor study. Is there anything else that anybody would like to request on a future agenda item? Alderman Wesley.
I was talking to the building department today. What's his name? John Lander. And we were talking about lot coverage for backyards and stuff. I'd like to discuss that at a later date about looking at that because there's new product out there that water goes through for brick pavers and stuff. So I would like to bring that up, but I would like the building department do more information on it.
My question, I'd like to ask John Forrest, do you think that staff has enough time to look into what it is that Alderman Wesley is talking about so we can discuss this at our next zoning ordinance committee meeting? So perhaps we can deal with it there since I think that's an appropriate place that's already itemized on the agenda.
Okay, I believe that date is May 13th, is that
I
correct?
think so. I don't know if anybody in here remembers for sure except for Wally, but I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think we can work on that. I think it's an issue, and I'm glad Alderman Wesley brought it forward. It's an item that we get calls in our department. You know, we get 2, 3, 4, 5 calls a week, particularly this time of year. People wanting to put in some patios or replace concrete. So I think it's something we've addressed it in the past. I think it's time to bring it forward again in light of some of the new products that are out now.
I don't want to delay this discussion, but I'm hoping we can piggyback it onto the new zoning ordinance discussion
Yeah.
and deal with it there, because that's where it'll have to be ultimately anyway.
Right.
Does that sound okay to you, Alderman Wesley, or would you prefer it as a separate agenda item? I can go either way.
If you feel comfortable that it would be there, that's fine.
I do.
At that
Okay.
time. If not, I'll bring it up later.
All right, thank you. Mr. Forrest, anything
Yes.
to add?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, what we're talking about are permeable products, the permeable concrete, permeable paver bricks, and if, people can be allowed to add some additional structures if they're made out of that type of materials, and they're currently at their maximum lot coverage. So that's what we'll be addressing.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Alderman Coles, did you have something? No. All right, if Alderman Sam Lewitton?
Thank you. John, just to piggyback on Alderman Roy Wesley, a year or two ago, we approved some permeable paving for a building. That, when you do your work for Roy, can you incorporate that in there? Bring the results of that work? That's all I want to ask.
Okay, thank you. If there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. There's a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you.
I'm calling to order the Finance and Administration Committee meeting of April 22, 2010. Will the minute taker please reflect same members are present? I declare a quorum. Next item is I make a motion to approve minutes dated April 8, 2010. Is there a second? Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. With one abstention. And next item is report and recommendation on the whistleblower policy. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Chairman Winger. As I briefly addressed in my cover memo, this was an item that came out of the audit report, the management letter from our audit last year, from our auditors Wolf and Company. We were advised that the state and the federal code already provides whistleblower coverage. And since we're a municipality of the state in the United States, we have to adhere by those. However, just to more formally codify that, we wanted to pass this resolution just acknowledging those particular sections of the respective codes that relate to whistleblower policies. Just real quick informationally, in the whereas statement section of the resolution, the 740 ILCS 174-1 refers to businesses not being able to take reprisals or fire or threat employees who make whistleblower claims. 740-175 speaks to litigation where employees make false claims against the company for personal gain. And the federal law, the Occupational Health and Safety Act of 1970, is an OSHA standard where employees can stand up for their rights for safety and well-being on the job site. So we're trying to catch all of those in one fell swoop, adopt them by reference, and just be formally codified.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Wilson? Okay, then I take it that you need a motion to adapt the whistleblower laws as presented, or no?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to adapt the, or to recommend to City Council the resolution of the City of Wooddale, DuPage County, pronouncing its observance in support of state and federal whistleblower laws. Is there a second?
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a business license ordinance amendment report and recommendation. Mr. Wilson?
Again, Chairman Winger. Back a number of months ago, I'll say September, October time, we came forward with a couple of what we thought to be minor changes to the business license and vehicle sticker code, basically setting deadlines for the sale of those when the current year sales would stop, and kind of give a blackout period until the new stickers go on sale. At that time, it was noticed, particularly by Alderman Lewitton, that the section 4.201, referencing the hazardous material requirements, was very ambiguous and could be very burdensome to business owners trying to provide that information to us. So at that time, you passed the blackout period provision with the understanding that we would go back and look at the hazardous material provision as brought to our attention by Alderman Lewitton. A number of staff members, business owners, and Alderman Lewitton got together on a number of different occasions, and we came up with the language that you see here before you, where basically, again, by reference, we're adopting the United States Department of Transportation regulations on hazardous materials. So then the biggest thing with that is, since we're adopting their code, every time their code changes, it automatically flows through to us. If we were to try to make a definitive list of things that we determine to be hazardous, anytime a new benzoxyethylenediene comes out, we'd have to come back and amend the ordinance to add that to it. Or if one becomes obsolete, we'd have to take it out. So adopting the federal code by reference is going to be a lot easier for us to enforce, because it's a fluid process than instead of a finite set of things on our books. And we have spoken to the business owners that Alderman Lewitton contacted, as well as Alderman Lewitton, and unless I don't want to speak for Alderman Lewitton, but he's expressed to me he's okay with this language, and we can adopt this and move forward.
Yeah, I'd like to, thank Alderman Lewitton for his interest in this, and staff working together with Alderman Lewitton and trying to work this out. Anything on the question before I make a motion? Alderman Eugene Wesley, and then Alderman Lewitton.
I have one question. And I have never seen us have a alderman or a local businesses write our ordinance, this policy, business license. Since when does businesses get involved in our ordinances and pretty much gave their blessing on it before we gave our input? One alderman's got the right to do that, have a business. Was the businesses at our meetings?
At one of the meetings that we did have, there was, I believe, one business representative there, yes.
I have a problem with, I mean, I have no problem passing this, but I think there should be a policy that a business person should not be involved in our policies on writing our ordinance. I have no problem with Alderman helping out, but bringing a businessman into a discussion of writing ordinance that could affect his business down the line into a city meeting is inappropriate. So I have no problem passing this, but I just think that was the wrong way of doing this. Thank you.
What, I'm gonna ask, what business was inappropriately involved? I'm not clear.
It doesn't say what business was at the meeting, but we have never done that when we write an ordinance in any passion or form. We have not invited any businesses into a meeting involving the city of rewriting ordinance. So if this is open door policy now, if another business wants an ordinance that's going to affect their business, well, then let them come to the meeting and help us write the ordinance. To me, a businessman was involved in writing, helping make some changes on this ordinance. We have never done that before. So if that's the case, then next business that comes over and the ordinance is going to affect them, we're going to invite them over to the meeting and they're going to help write the ordinance that's going to benefit them. I'm in favor of passing this ordinance, but that is my objection on the way that was handled.
Alderman Lewitton and then Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to take just the opposite point of view. We are very fortunate to have businessmen in this community with expertise that we don't have, that we would have to go out and pay thousands of dollars to get a professional opinion when we have people in the city who have the expertise and volunteer it to us, who are willing to take their time, their expense, their troubles, and help us to understand a very complicated matter. I mean, we're talking about chemical compounds, we're talking about physical properties. We just don't let businessmen come in and walk over us. We invite them in, and nothing that was ever said, was ever implied, exceeded anything that the police department wanted to enforce. And what do you mean we don't invite people to come in who are affected by our laws? That's saying we shouldn't accept petitions from people who want streets paved, who want sidewalks on their property. We shouldn't discuss with businessmen expenses that they're going to have to incur because we make an unfunded mandate. I mean, philosophically, I have to absolutely say I am diametrically opposed to what you just said.
I'm going to call Alderman Eugene Wesley, then Mr. Mayor. Sorry.
I will tell you that then we should have invited every business that has hazardous material to that meeting, and we did not.
Mr. Mayor.
Not wanting to jump in the middle, however, I guess I am. Historically, and this may be prior to you being on the council, Alderman Wesley, but we have invited the business community on several occasions to participate in the formation of ordinances. In fact, we have a representative of the Chamber of Commerce sitting here tonight who was himself substantially involved when we rewrote the sign code ordinance several years ago, not the most recent one, where we invited the chamber to comment on it and specific businesses to comment on it. So in the past, that has been our policy, that when we're going to create a law that affects the business community, we have always invited them, and they have always been open to share us their thoughts. We don't necessarily have to agree with it or go along with it, but all their comments are welcome. At least they have been in the past.
Alderman Coles.
I've been listening to both sides, and hazard material is usually the fire department inspects buildings, and you have to put down what hazard materials you have in your building when they come for inspection. And it doesn't involve the license at all, the business license at all. The fire department, if you have a can of ether sitting on a shelf in your business, that's a hazardous material. A can that's this big, that round, that's considered a hazard material. Now, how are you going to classify hazard material? I don't know. All I can say is I had to, in my shop, list every can that says flammable on it for the village of Bensonville when they came in for inspection. Every can that had, and if I had a can with gasoline in, I had to empty that can because that was inflammable. All right? Now, that had nothing to do with my license. Nothing to do with my license. The fire department controls, you have to tell the fire department you got hazard material because they inspect your building, and they inspect it every year. And as far as I'm concerned, you can have this in there, you can have all the hazard material you want in there, but as far as I'm concerned, it has nothing to do with business license.
That's a good point, or sounds valid to me. Let's hear, Mr. Wilson, is there duplication here, or no?
We struggled with that exact point that you just made, Alderman Coles. And what you said about the can of ether on your shelf, that was actually the prime example that Manager Douthwaite was using with the ambiguity and the broad nature of the ordinance as it was previously written. The fire department does indeed require the MSDS, I believe. MSDA sheets to be available in the front of the store in the office, listing out all the flammable materials, what they are, what their break point is, things of that nature. The reason that we need this for the business license, just, yes, we have hazardous materials, no, we do not, is for the dispatchers. When they dispatch the fire department, not all the guys on the truck have been through every building. The fire bureau might have been, but we wanted to be able to give the dispatchers just a yes or no. Hey, guys, they have hazardous material level 3, which, is, let me see what 3 is. Flammable liquids in the premises on the south side of the property. Well, they know if the fire is on the north side of the property, they have a little bit of time. If the fire is on the south side of the property, they could be walking into a bomb and a flashover. So we tried to give just an up or a down to allow the dispatchers to help prevent our guys from walking into a terrible situation.
Did the fire department look at everybody's license when they go out on a call? They get the call and they jump in the truck and out they go. Do they look at the license first? That's a question I'm asking you. They don't.
Yeah, I'd have to
They go
check
to fight
with
the fire. Every house that's in the city of Wooddale has a hazard because they cut grass and they got a gas can in the garage. They have a car wood full of gas that explodes. And if they got E85 in it, it explodes more. All right, so I mean, as far as that's concerned, you could put a list this long on every gas station that you have in the city, on anything that they sell. They sell a can of carburetor cleaner, that's explosive. All right, so I mean, I agree with you to put the hazard in, but to make an ordinance for it, I disagree.
Mr. Wilson?
This has actually been in the business license ordinance for probably 25 years. Nobody, I guess, realized that it was as unclear and broad as it was. So we were just trying to make it significantly more finite for the business owners than the broad, completely Wild West that the wording of it was before.
If it's been in for 25 years, why are we changing it?
Alderman Shockey.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is that as long as the mayor approved this subcommittee to look at the hazardous materials and approve the members that were on it. I don't see a problem with them bringing back information to us like this.
Alderman Eugene Wesley.
Am I reading the wrong memo that he approved a committee to put this together?
I would assume.
Mayor, did you approve a committee to work on this? First of all, I will apologize to Mr. Lewitton for my statements because I did not know that other people get involved in an ordinance. But my concern is then if that was the case, we should have invited every businesses that had hazardous material for their input. Mr. Mayor, again, did we approve a committee to put this together?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so again, I'm for the policy, let's get it passed. I'm just saying next time, if anything involves the businesses and they want to be involved, then we send it to all the businesses that might have something like that, if that's the case. I just don't want to rule out one businesses, and if you want to do it that way, that's fine, but you do all the businesses, because there's Michael Lewis, there's Venus Labs up there that's got a lot of hazardous material. I mean, they should be involved in it too. But let's get this over with and pass it.
Mr. Lewitton, since you were the spearheader from a council perspective, would you prefer to make the motion?
I make the motion that we approve as has been written.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Anything else on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Any opposed? Just one opposition? Okay, so motion carries. Next item is the train station coffee shop lease. And Mr. Wilson? Mr. Forrest?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As stated in the memo, I've had several conversations over the last month or two with the operator of the coffee service at the train station. And, I had received some correspondence from him in early March, which I included just as sort of an informational-only item in your packet. I didn't really request any action on it at that time, but since then I've been approached by some of the members of the council to maybe bring this forward to the committee and discuss it and see if there's any kind of relief or assistance that we can, or some kind of a partnership that we can do with Mr. Frenzos from Christie's. Initially, when we did put out the request for proposals for the coffee service, we were working off of figures that we got from Metra as far as the ridership that passed through the Wooddale train station every day. Mr. Frenzos, as you know, did win the contract from the city for the coffee vendor service over there. Subsequently, except for, I think, one day, he's been losing money every day that he's open over there. As little as $20 and as much as $60 or $80 a day. So it seemed prudent to come back to the committee. We are currently charging him $400 a month rental there. And I just wanted to bring this forward to see if the city council would recommend giving some sort of relief to the coffee vendor temporarily, or at least for a period of time where he can hopefully turn the business around a little bit. We're still trying to come up with ways to increase the ridership. I did talk to the community affairs person from Metra, and he said that ridership is down on this west line close to 5%. It's down about 5%, regional-wide for the ridership. Whether that's enough to really make a difference or not, I couldn't really say. But it's hard. I really think that we did lose some riders during the time the station was being constructed. I feel that some of the residents that live on the west side of town may have started using the Itasca station. Some of the residents on the east side of town may have started using the Bensonville station. And we need to figure out a way to get those people back. I think I mentioned in the memo as well, CMAP has agreed to, at no cost to the city, they're going to be doing a survey in the middle of May of exactly who's parking, where the commuters are coming from. And, maybe with that information, we can also somehow try and increase the people that use the station. It might also be nice to try and let our residents know that there is a very good coffee shop there that offers breakfast sandwiches, and you don't necessarily have to be jumping on the train to take advantage of that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to concur with your recommendation. I'll look for a second, then have the discussion. So I make a motion to, for the city council to consider waiving the $400 per month agreed upon rent per the lease dated November 5, 2009, until such time as the coffee vendor service becomes a profit-generating venture for the vendor, or until that lease runs out and then we revisit this. Is there a second? Anything on the question? Alderman Eugene
John,
Wesley?
I just have one question. Was he the only vendor that bid for the coffee shop?
Yes.
Okay, so I have no problem.
Mr. Mayor?
Just to clarify, I presume your motion is going forward, not refunding previous months
Correct.
already paid. And maybe you want to put a condition in there, providing it remains a manned or woman facility. I don't think you necessarily want no rent and you have a strip of vending machines there. I think the intent is that it is a full-service coffee shop, and the rent is waived as long as he maintains that. I think that's what your intent is.
I would accept that motion change. Does the seconder? Alderman Coles?
I would suggest that he stay open, because if they put machines in there, it'll only have trouble. So it's made for a coffee shop in it, let them stay in it rent-free.
Okay, there's a motion. Alderman Roy Wesley?
John, why don't we go over to Itasca and give him flyers and say, Wooddale? That's all I got.
If you would like to hand those out, we could probably do it.
Alderman Lewitton?
During the first go-around on the vote for this, I had requested an amendment to the motion which was voted down, and that was to provide a stop and buy parking for the place. We just spoke, and I forgot who it was who said it would be nice if that people could stop and know that the place sells to non-train riders. I don't. Could you just tell me who said that? John. I'm sorry, John. But the words made an impact on me. Is it possible? Is it proper to add into the motion that we allow one stop and purchase parking, a 5-minute spot, that it won't be ticketed, so somebody could drive in, walk inside, because there is no window to the outside world. Can walk inside, get a sandwich, get a coffee, get out and drive away?
Actually, I'm going to call the question on this particular motion, and then I will entertain further discussion here. It does pertain to the initial motion, Alderman, please.
Actually, bottom line is, I've been in there a couple of times in the morning. I just park right there near the door, in and out.
This has nothing to do with it, just a rent.
Okay, there's a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then how about if I bring that up under new business now? I think that was our last item, and then we'll continue that discussion under new business if it's needed or not, Alderman Lewitton. Alderman Coles?
If you want to know, the police department does not give out tickets in there until after 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
There was a commentary by Alderman Coles. I'm not sure if it's valid or not. It's his perception.
If you want to stop and get a cup of coffee, you can.
Okay, so items for future meetings, and Alderman Lewitton or actually Mr. Forrest, do you feel there's that need for that parking spot, or do we need to look at this?
It's something we could look at. There are a lot of assigned parking spots over there when people buy their monthly pass, numbered spots, and then there are some spots where people can pay by the day. I would have to take a look and see if there's an area where we might be able to dedicate, 2 or 3 parking spots for 5-minute parking only. But I would hate to, cause a commuter to not have a spot that he's paying for every day for somebody, just to use for a couple of minutes. But we do have. Well, at this point in time, we have plenty of surplus parking, so I'm sure we could figure something out. Might not be the closest spot to the station.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm in agreement. It would be nice to have at least one or two to entice people to say, oh, there is a parking spot. I can
Yeah.
stop and grab my coffee and go. So do you need this to be on an agenda item to take action? Or is this something you can get done and put up a sign in one of the open spots, at least one? Is that good? I'm seeing a nod from Mr. Douthwaite, yes, so.
Yes.
Okay, so it's okay just to, you have the direction, okay. Alderman Coles?
Well, John, they have a lane over there that says bus, parking for buses, don't they, in that center lane?
Correct.
And they have one there for taxis? Don't they have one there for taxis?
I don't think there's one dedicated for taxis. The taxis typically just kind of park
Yeah.
along the front of the
Where
station.
Where the buses are. You
Yeah.
can always park there if you want for 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't think we have very regular bus service coming there at this
They don't
point,
have-
so we
the
could probably
bus
do that.
Sits across the street in the other lot
Mhm.
in the morning.
Okay, is this new business, Alderman Wesley? Okay, Alderman Eugene Wesley, okay, future items.
I would like the new garbage contractor to come forward to the city council to answer some questions. Obviously, if I am mistaken, BFI is no longer a garbage pickup. Now it's, I believe, ARC. I have a couple of questions, and I think the council needs to hear from them directly and at least meet the new ownership of that company. So I am asking that items be put on next month's agenda.
I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but I'm not sure if it would be yourself, Mr. Forrest, or if it's Mr. Douthwaite. What's the nature of the change? Is it just a new owner, a new company? Can you tell me more about this? Because we just discussed the contract, so I'm a little, unclear.
Shortly after the franchise agreement was approved by the council, Allied Waste was bought out by Arc Disposal Company, which is an affiliate of Republic Services, Inc. Similar to what happened shortly after we passed the 2005 franchise agreement with BFI. BFI was either merged or bought out by Allied Waste, and the franchise automatically transferred from BFI to Allied. We negotiated a franchise extension with Allied shortly after we passed that. They were bought out, so we have a new company that's headquartered in Prospect Heights. We've had some glitches in the last 3 weeks with respect to times of pickup. We had about 20 calls the first week. It was down to about 5 calls the second week and about 3 or 4 calls the third week. But we're working with them on a regular basis to try and make sure that this transition is as seamless as possible. But if the council wants to call in the new ownership and have a discussion with them, if that's the council's pleasure, we can certainly try and do that.
I want to hear from a few other council people if they want this discussion or not. Does anyone have an opinion either way? And do they want the new owners to come forward and talk, or is it too soon for that? If I hear nothing, then I
want to ask one other question.
then I'm not planning on asking someone to come in.
Then I'll,
just to talk with you,
and
Alderman
I'll
Wesley.
ask Wally then.
Okay, then go ahead.
Starford, when the contract was signed here, how quick did we flip? Within that Monday, the new drivers are out. So did we not know down the line that it was not in the work when we approved that contract, that it may go to a whole entire new company instead of merging?
I had only heard a rumor from someone not connected with the company. One of my colleagues in another city said, I hear rumors, because that, now Prospect was also serviced by Allied, and he said, I'm hearing rumors that there may be a merger afoot, but I heard nothing from the company until after the contract was signed and they brought in the new team.
So here's the thing that bothers me, and I'll tell you one thing. If I would have known that they were in the process of flipping a company like that within Within Thursday, we approved the contract. Monday, we had a new garbage company. If I would've known that, I wouldn't have voted for that, and I would've said go out for bid. Okay? Because I just think that this was, again, a quick deal. He wanted out, didn't warn us at all. And I have a concern. I'm getting garbage pickup in my ward at 6:30 at night, which the kids are still out on the streets, more walking in our area without sidewalks. I'm just worried about the garbage trucks hitting them if we continue to pick up at 6:30 at night. Needless to say, the sunlight is up more now, but I have a concern about pickup. We have never picked up garbage that late in our town. All of a sudden, we flip the company and our time slot changes like that when our people got used of putting their garbage out at night and then pick up at 6:30, 7:30 at night. I cannot accept that.
And you brought that to my attention a couple days after it happened, and that same week, we had a meeting with the new owners. We explained the concern, and they agreed that that was unacceptable, and they would be in touch with their drivers. Some of the concerns that we heard were, that residents were used to having their garbage picked up at night in the morning, and they weren't being picked up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they started to call us wondering if there was a problem. But when we pointed out that there were concerns about, A, garbage being picked up at 6:30 at night, and B, garbage being strewn around the front yards, they agreed that neither of those were acceptable, and they would get back to their drivers and make sure that that got rectified. That was about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so why am I still having garbage pickup? And I kept time, 6:30 at night the other day, and
If you
7
had-
o'clock the week before.
If you had told me, I would have gotten back to them. The reason that I don't have an answer for you. All I can say is, had you let us know, we certainly would have been back in contact with them. We've got the business cards. If there's a problem that you're hearing from either yourself or from your constituents, we need to know about it so we can fix it.
Alderman Coles.
You notice I didn't vote for Allied Waste when their contract was up, because I had ARC first. That was 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, ARC sold my contract to Allied Waste. All right? That was 6 months ago. So it wasn't something that was just done overnight. So I know about Allied Waste, and I know about ARC selling out to them, because I had ARC originally picking up my garbage in my shop, and then it switched over to Allied Waste.
Well,
And that was 6 months ago.
Well, actually, the reverse is true. Allied sold or was bought by ARC, not the other way around. Our contract that we negotiated was with Allied Waste, and they were bought out by ARC, which is a subsidiary of Republic.
Alderman Roy Wesley, and then I'll go back to you, Alderman Roy Wesley.
With this new company, do they abide by everything that's in that contract? New garbage trucks, the garbage cans,
Yes, they do.
everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Anything else, Alderman Coles?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
Okay, any other new items on the agenda that you want to discuss? Anybody? Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We need a break.
Yes.
We have a 5-minute break.
So how are you doing? Yeah? Anything new? Nothing. Yeah? No.
I know.
I'd like to call to order the April 22nd meeting of the Public Health, Safety, and Judiciary Committee. Will the minute taker please show the same people are present? First order is an approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 11th. I've been doing a low profile here.
So move.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is a report and recommendation on discussion of street names. I think Mr. Alderman Lewitton brought this up. Would you like to say something about it?
Oh, I'd like to have it tabled for now. I'd like to make a motion to table it to to another meeting.
Is there a second on the table?
Ask them why we tabling it.
No, there's no motion, there's no second on the table. Do you want to second it? Okay, any questions? Discussion?
No discussion, you can't have it on a table.
No, that's right, it's tabled, it's done. Oh, I'll vote. Everybody who's in favor of tabling the discussion on street names, please say yay.
Yay.
Aye.
Any noes?
No.
4-4.
Would the minute taker please call the roll on this?
Alderman Chalky,
No.
Alderman Winger,
No.
Alderman Eugene Wesley,
No.
Alderman Cadella,
No.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
Alderman Coles,
No.
Alderman Roy Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton.
Yes.
Motion fails. Did you want to say anything more on it?
I want to take it out then for the time being.
Okay, the next item then is items to be considered at future meetings. Do I have any items? Nobody?
Hey, Dan, he said that's on, that thing for street name is in for recommendation, so we have to do something. That's going on what the mayor says. So you have
We
to
do have to
something.
do something.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, this is on the agenda here for recommendation, so if the motion to table failed, you need to do something with this project.
Okay, do I have a motion to turn this down? We have okay, I made the motion. All in favor of turning this down, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
No.
Okay, the motion passes to turn it down. Items to be considered at future meetings, does anybody have anything? Otherwise, I'll call for an adjournment of the public health meeting. I have a second on the motion.
Second.
All in favor? I'm finished, thank you.
I'm sorry, no, I thought it was me. That was all me.